this right here. Like $40 worth of paint. That's it. Junk. It's super expensive, and I say you should buy it. Let me tell you why. What's up, Rockstars? Hopefully I didn't ruin my carpet because my wife will kill me and I'll feel really bad. However, it's worth proving a point. Citadel paints are expensive. If you want to get into the miniature painting hobby and you want to spend as much money as possible, you should buy Citadel paints. I also think you should buy them for a myriad of other reasons, and it's why I choose to paint with them more than any other. I love Vallejo, I love some Army Painter, I love P3, I love every single paint, Turbo Dork, all sorts of stuff. They all have pros and cons, but Citadel is something that I own almost every single paint type of, and there is very good reasons why I have them and why I think you probably should too. Now, I know it's popular to hate on Games Workshop, They do the Citadel paint line, and for good reason. They're a craptastic company. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that their products are bad, just the company's kind of poo-poo. However, their paints are expensive, okay? I mean, if you come here, like on Miniature Market, let's say you even just buy it online. I can do it because I can show you my screen. You're spending $47 for 9, and that is the cheapest you will ever get. Okay. Otherwise, they will do $7, $8 in like a pretty little gaming store. You can get some as low as like $3.99 and stuff like that. They run the gamut, but either way, they are expensive. They are consistently more than their competitors. You will spend more on them per milliliter than you will on Army Painter, than you will on Vallejo, than you will on pretty much most of them, except for some like obscure specialty ones that you have to kind of special order and stuff like that. So why on earth, if it's run by a company that's kind of poo-poo and it is more expensive, would I suggest that you buy them, or especially new people buy them? Well, there's actually a simple reason for that. First of all, the support for them is huge. They are the biggest when it comes to the miniature painting world. Like when it comes to like actual like toys and stuff like that. If you get into like the hobby stuff, like model trains, stuff like that, often you'll see a little bit different. But for gaming, which needs a more robust acrylic than a lot of those, because they're not meant just for show, they're meant to actually get touched and moved and stuff like that. Then you definitely will see Citadel more than any other place. And that's because they are like everywhere. So I just searched for a local gaming store. I got some GameSpot junk and stuff like that. But besides the GameStop stuff, I have actual like Phoenix Fire games, All About games, Infinite Hero games, Fantastic games, all these Deadly 7 games, all these kind of places will have Citadel. Every single one of them will. Like 100% you will find them. So one of the reasons I like them is a very, very simple reason. And that's because I'll be painting a board game, and I like this green that does Fallout well, or something like that. Or I'll be painting an army in Warhammer, or in Infinity, or in anything else, right? I'm painting either a game or that, sometimes even display pieces, but either way, I might need a lot of the paint, or I might run out of it. Now, if you buy something that isn't carried everywhere, you either have to go to a specific store somewhere, you have to order them online and wait. And I don't want to wait. I don't want any separation between me and my hobby time. And so it's very nice to know that any game store close to me will have some Citadel paint. I can get a replacement paint. That is something that has kept me away from a lot of these Kickstarter paintings, like paint campaigns that I've seen that look really cool. But I know that if I run out of it, I have to now order it online and have it shipped to me. And until then, I do not have that color. I cannot paint with that color. So either have to be very proactive and have more than I need, or I have to simply wait. And either way, it sounds bad to me, but Citadel, you will constantly do that. The runner-up would probably be Army Painter followed by Vallejo in that order. And personally, I like Vallejo paints by and large. They're not their metallics as much, but there are pros and cons to all of them. But Citadel, consistently, always, you will find it at your gaming store, and you should be able to get it. If you don't have it at your gaming store, let me know. I'd love to hear about a gaming store that does not hold Citadel paints, and maybe a story behind that. What do you think about that? That'd be kind of interesting. At least here in Idaho, at least in the Treasure Valley area that I live in, they are in every single store, guaranteed. So you will always find them on stock. You will always be able to have them on hand. But there's more to it than that. You see, the community around it, like you go on YouTube and you watch the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer. No, never mind. If you watch any video on miniature painting, 8 times out of 10, I'm not going to say 9 times, but 8 times out of 10, they're going to have some Citadel paints involved here. Now, not always. You'll see like Vallejo here and stuff like that, but a lot of these will have Citadel paint. And that's just something you just need to know going in. But one of the nice things about that is you will get a ton of tutorials. You got a ton of feedback. The moment they come out with like contrast, you're going to have 800 million videos on it telling you how each one works and how to use it best and tips to do that. So if you're new to the hobby, if you're looking at something for inspiration and wondering what paints they did, if you are looking for new techniques on how to do something, oftentimes they will use Citadel paints because it is the most common, especially among content creators and stuff like that. You'll actually find a little bit more in the content creation side elsewhere because it's kind of popular to try other things and compare them and like do things like you saw the craft, let's do it all in craft paint, fun stuff like that, of course. But for anybody you see on Instagram that posted a really cool picture or a group on Facebook or anything like that, a lot of times they're using Citadel paints, contrast paints, the stuff that you can go and get it and get the exact same result. And that's huge, especially when you're starting out. Now, obviously they are a little bit more expensive, but because you're not buying them in bulk, because you're actually just buying what you need at the store and throwing them all across your carpet, when you do that, you're ending up spending less. When you buy big packs of them, like the Army Painter packs, stuff like that, those are super cool, and per bottle, they're great. But do you need 3 pinks? Probably not. And if you don't need those, you're wasting money buying those. And when really you need 3 of the red that you really like, or a lot more browns or oranges or whatever it is you're painting. So if you buy only what you actually need for the mini, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. And you can do it over time by just going to the store and grabbing, okay, I need this one and this one looks kind of cool. I'll try this one. Or I saw a technique that did that or whatever. So I honestly typically tell people to do that. The last point is consistency, except for whites. Whites are garbage in most paints. But seriously, each bottle typically will work just fine. You won't have any issues. Sometimes with an Army painter, and you'll shake it for like 5 hours, and you put it on the like vortex shaker, and it's like, and then you go, and it still does all medium, right? I mean, you kind of work with that kind of stuff. When it comes to when you're first starting out, especially, but often just in my hobby time, I don't want to fuss with the brush. I don't want to fuss with the paint. I don't want anything between me and that I'm having to deal with. I don't want my painting and hobby time to be frustrating time. And so Citadel, I get it. I open it up. It's good to go. You can transfer the bottles if you're into that. You can do whatever you want. But seriously, I actually really like Citadel paints. I know that's probably kind of a taboo thing. Let me know if you do. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But they're my go-to. If I need another one, I pick them up while I'm already at the store. It's not even an extra trip. So I always have that on hand, whether it's the texture, whether it's the contrast, whether it's a layer, whether it's a base, anything like that, I know I can use it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it, maybe 1.5 cents, whatever. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. If those are valid points, if you have any other important bits about paint that you care about that make you go from either Citadel or Vallejo or Army Paint or whatever it is that you enjoy doing, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I think actually a mixture of everything, and that's what I have, is probably best. For instance, love Vallejo paints, but their metallics I find too glittery. I think they're a little too glittery. So I actually like Citadel paints more for that because they have a nice smooth texture typically that I appreciate. But gritty gold in Army Painter is delicious. It is a great looking gold. So just depends. Everything's different. I actually prefer the pots for my shades, my washes, because I can just dip my brush in and go real quick. I don't want tide marks. So I want to go real quick around the mini. I don't want to have to put it out of the bottle and then end up putting way too much and now I've just wasted it. So anyway, yeah, pros and cons to everything, but Citadel paints, definitely my go-to. I definitely choose to paint it, and I typically recommend them too. Doesn't mean the other ones aren't great too, but 9 times out of 10, I can tell you to go get some Citadel paints, and your store near you has it, and that's always a good thing. Can't say the same for like P3, stuff like that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. That's all I had today. I will talk to you guys again very soon with a Witcher unboxing, obviously. That's coming up, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a kind of a different one, a special one. And then, of course, a review for that coming up in its final form. I'll compare it to the prototype, what I think changed, all that kind of stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that. Take care, guys. Bye.